So last thing that I really want to show you is several different types of paper and why you might consider some papers over other papers. So as far as just getting start out type of paper, let's go jump to newsprint. Now newsprint is it's not that exciting. In fact, it's probably the worst I mean, in terms of archivable, all those sort of things. There's not a whole lot of texture. It's extremely smooth, and it's honestly, it's going to fade. It's going to turn brown over time. You'd think that newsprint wouldn't be the greatest, but in actuality, it really is. One of the reasons that it's so nice is that when you're drawing, really the big thing with drawing or getting started in drawing and getting really good at it, it's not the quality of the drawing that matters, it's the quantity. And really what you need to do in terms of drawing is put the miles of paper in. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. And truly is. It's the miles of paper that you put in your sketchbook in large format like this. This is like your 19 by 24 sort of size, or 18 by 24 or whatever it is. So, but regardless, it really does come down to just taking the time and doing as many drawings as possible. So that's the first thing. Newsprint, being that it's so cheap, very accessible, this is, and it's, you know, it's not a paper that's, you know, going to be really expensive to put in that time and effort to truly understand the different structures of whatever you're designing or developing or inventing. So I really would recommend newsprint. And I'll do videos later on this very topic of what you can do newsprint with. But it really is a good resource in terms of putting in the miles of effort that you do, or the practice that you need to put in. This is kind of your next tier up. This is just your Strathmore 300 series. The nice thing about this, again, if you're kind of in a pinch or those sort of things, this paper will do actually quite nicely. One of the things, and it's hard to see on camera, but one of the things it does versus the newsprint, it's going to have a little bit of what's called a tooth to it. And there's one side's going to have a greater tooth to it than the other side. And that's just how the paper's made. So in any case, I would, in terms of just starting out, maybe with your charcoal or even pastel pencils that I showed you earlier, excuse me, this will actually be an all right choice for you. Kind of the next level up from that will be your 500 series Strathmore. Same company. The biggest difference between that, the paper quality is just going to be that much more. So I have two different types of gray here. One's going to be your flannel gray, which is basically this top. And then your other is going to be, I think it's a velvet gray. And I think one's like a Canson, or the other's a Strathmore. The bottom one here is a Strathmore. Whatever, I mean, they're both going to have a similar sort of take on it. Flannel gray is going to be a really good option, especially for if you're going to do your charcoal. The reason being is that it's good mid-tone. Your paper is going to be a good mid-tone between your darks and your lights. The dark being the charcoal versus the light of maybe a pastel or a white pastel. And so this is going to be the paper you can use as an actual mid-tone between those two different values. Now, as far as the velvet gray here, again, it's going to have the same tooth. The one benefit with this type of color versus the flannel gray, more of a cooler gray versus a warm gray, if that makes sense, is with the pastels and the colors that I have chosen here. It's going to be a good mid-tone, again, between the paper, using the paper as that mid-tone value between the dark of this off red color versus the highlight of the white. And so you want to capture the mid-tone or that mid-range. And so that's why these two colors. Hopefully that answers some of your questions regarding paper, pencils, all those sort of things, and really getting started in terms of taking your drawings to the next level. Over the next couple weeks, we'll be going over drawing the human form, drawing real simple shapes, your cones, your spheres, all those sort of things. So we'll catch that next time. But until then, really appreciate your likes. Certainly your comments are very valued. And then always please subscribe to the channel. And then we'll see you next time.